Hey everyone, I am Faith. I'm terrified of talking on camera, so I'm here to fix it. I'm talking about Ballerina Farm. Now, what the hell is Ballerina Farm? I would have said that as well about 3 days ago, and now they're all over my feed. So Ballerina Farm is a farm with millions, and I do like 10 million followers all over Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, and it's a farm owned by a man called Daniel Neeleman and his wife Hannah. Now, Hannah has gone viral because she is a beauty queen, and she was seen in this stunning picture of her looking glorious with this cascading blonde hair and a sparkly dress, breastfeeding, because just 12 days before her pageant she had had a baby. And that's when everyone started to go nuts, and they started to call her the Queen of the Tradwives. Now, a tradwife is kind of what it sounds, traditional wife, but it's a lot more than that. It's this idyllic view of pastoral America where the guy is this big butch lumberjack type, and he goes out and he does farming with the cows, his cowboy, and she stays home. This vision of soft domestic bliss in flowing dresses with children hanging off of her, making sourdough bread, and sometimes in jeans milking cows as well, usually with a baby breastfeeding at the same time. That is presented as this wonderful aspirational way of being, and that is what the tradwife movement or the tradwife subculture is. And a journalist came out to talk to Hannah from the Times. Now, I am a writer, and I have also been profiled in the Times, so I have seen this from both perspectives. I have never seen such incredible bias in an article, but just because an article has a journalist's opinion in it does not necessarily mean that it's wrong. This journalist, Megan, I need to find her surname, I'll put it up on screen because I've got like notes everywhere. She started talking about the fact that she could not get Hannah alone to answer any questions, even though they knew she was coming, even though they knew that she was going to be talking about Hannah. She couldn't get a second with this woman to talk to her. Every time she tried to answer a question, her husband is looming behind her. And every time she answers something, she looks to him. And then the 1 second he's out of the room and she admits she had an epidural for one of her pregnancies, but almost all of the others were natural births at home. And the way this was written was like, this is some kind of a bit of a secret, a bit like, I don't really want to talk about that. She was a ballerina, a Juilliard trained ballerina. That is huge. To go to Juilliard, you have got to be incredible. And she was a professional ballerina. But they met. He was interested in her. She didn't want to date him. Not for, I think, 6 months. So one day, she gets on a plane, and amazingly, he's in the seat next to her. And they start talking and hanging out, and 2 months later they're married, except that his dad owns the airline, and he, as they put it in rich America, he made a call. So the son engineered it so that not only was he on this same flight, but he was in the seat next to her. Ew. And then 2 months later they're married. And she talks about what she's given up, that she's given up this life of ballet, and all she has really is the name of the farm. Even the last line in the article is, "Where are our sparkly dresses?" Well, they've been moved to the garage. And she was going to have a barn converted into a ballet studio, but the children have it for a schoolroom now. And so she does these pageants like Mrs. America, and she comes home and she takes care of the children. And this article paints a picture that is really disturbing at worst, and just very, very sad at best. So this is what everybody is talking about. This is why the internet has gone crazy about, how damaging is this? How happy is she? Can we save her? Is abuse going on in this house? And yeah, at the moment I'm not monetized on YouTube, so I'm going to say words like abuse and eating disorder. If I have to start saying ED and unalived to get around censors and stuff, then I'll give you some good amounts of notice. But right now, no one's listening to me, so I'm going to talk plainly. So this whole thing, this cry for help, as people are putting it. I think that this and this and this are connected. And I'm going to tell you why. Did you ever wonder why Starbucks put your name wrong on everything they possibly can at any given time? My name is really easy. My name is Faith, and I've been Fifth, and I've been Fath, and I've been Foth, and I've been everything under the sun. And a lot of that came from this ridiculous viral clip of a guy called Mark who said, "My name is Mark with a C, you know, M-A-R-C." And Starbucks wrote "Gark" on his cup, and of course he shared it to social media because this is ridiculous, and it went kind of viral. And then someone suggested that this is a phenomenal way to get your brand out there, even if everybody's laughing at you. Because the people that would normally share a picture of their Starbucks cups were going to do it anyway, regardless of whether you spell the name right or not. But for people like me, who have a very straightforward name, if their name gets butchered, they're going to be, look what this, how did it happen? And they're going to put it online. And now everybody's seeing on their followers list Starbucks, and maybe one person shares it and they're their people, and then somebody else does it, and then maybe someone does it with 100,000 followers. If this theory, this conspiracy is true, that's a hell of a publicity stunt, and I'm not entirely convinced that that's not exactly what is going on, because even if everybody's laughing at you, they're talking about you. Now, there's a saying that all publicity is good publicity, and social media algorithms thrive on attention and interaction, which brings us to tabloid headlines. I've got 50 children and I'm not going to stop. My sister takes my pictures for OnlyFans. I fell in love with my husband's brother's dog. And we're getting married. This crap that, I mean, I'm British, obviously, and the tabloids here are insane. They will put literally anything to get you to click and to get you to be really, really, really angry. Because when you're really, really, really angry, you start to comment in the comment section, and that bumps your article even more and more and more and more. Anger gets clicks, anger gets views, and anger ends up paying. Because if everybody's looking at you and following you, if you've got a monetized account, making people angry can be a really good career choice. There's a vile woman called Katie Hopkins who's done pretty much exactly that. For creators, what if you don't want rage? You want the looks and the clicks. How do you do that without inciting rage? Well, you incite concern. Which brings us to Kate Yup. It was around 2018, I think, on YouTube, when these videos started to come out of a mukbanger. Now, mukbang is where you're talking about something usually, or just eating a prodigious quantity of food on camera. And sometimes you can be talking about something, whether that's fashion, crime, anything. Other times you're just eating a large amount of food. And this woman, this is what she is doing. But there's more to it than that. She's blindfolded. And she is eating, usually with her hands, her bare hands, shoveling food into her face. And huge, huge, huge quantities of whole prawns and seafood. And then the video description starts to get stomach churning, is the best way I can describe it. She says things like, "I eat fish bones whole." Now, Kate Yup, the sounds she makes when she's eating, she's really like, it's not what I would call someone enjoying food. It sounds like someone being force-fed, even though she's clearly feeding herself. And people started to get very concerned because firstly she is blindfolded, but then people started to hear a male voice on the videos saying, "Eat faster." And then people noticed other things, like she, in one video, had a toothbrush strapped to her hand. I'll go into why in a minute. I'm going to try and keep stuff that could be upsetting in a small portion, but yeah. People notice there's this weird toothbrush attached to her hand. And then, in one video, she pulls out a tooth. Like an actual tooth falls out in the middle of this video with her eating. And then there's videos where she has bruises on her. It gets more and more concerning and disturbing, and people keep watching. And of course, people start to comment. Are you okay? Are you all right? What's wrong? You know, are you being forced to do this? Send us a sign. people started to say, send us a sign. Can you tap on something? And there is one video where she's got a bowl of something and her fingers are going. Even alone, someone shoveling food in their mouth while blindfolded and doing this, there's something really viscerally off about it. But there she is, and she's doing it. And then at one point, her video description says, "Oh, it's so delicious, so soft and tender," but the highlighted letters are in capitals, SOS. And then in 4 separate videos, she does the same thing, HELP. And the internet lost its mind. Had Kate Yupp been kidnapped? Was she being forced to sit in front of a camera shoveling food in her face and it being posted to YouTube? That's what people started to think. And there happened to be a girl that had gone missing who looked a little bit similar to her. Carly, I think it's Carly Guys. People were genuinely concerned that this was in fact Carly, but Kate Yupp started her channel before Carly went missing, so we don't think it's her. Then someone was saying it's a UFC fighter because this woman had bruises in the same places, but no, it was proven that it's not this UFC fighter. We don't know who Kate Yupp is, but apparently police have done a welfare check and apparently she is okay. But still, the last video she posted was 9 months ago because she disappeared, and then a few months ago she posted a GoFundMe saying, "Please help me." So of course people click, and she needs help for serious dental issues, as people kind of suspected. But it's all a bit clickbaity. It's all a bit clickbaity, this "please help me." So, what the hell is going on? From here, I'm going to start talking a bit about an eating disorder. It's going to be very brief, but I'm going to put a timestamp for when I finish, so you can click if you don't want to hear this. A lot of people who are bulimic can use toothbrushes to make themselves throw up. Now, a lot of people with eating disorders in general and by nature, are secretive. It would be very unusual for someone who is intending to make themselves sick after stuffing their face with food with a toothbrush to have it strapped to their hand in a video. And if somebody was kidnapped, surely the kidnapper is going to be looking through all of their stuff and have control of the YouTube and notice if a description starts coming up with a coded help or SOS. It's ridiculous. So for Kate Yupp, you could not be more disturbing if you tried. And there, right there, is what makes me think that this is somebody who knows exactly what is going on. This, in my opinion, is somebody who knows that the more concerned and disturbed your audience are, the more they're going to immediately come back to any video and start looking for clues, which often means watching the video right through to the end, watching it again, sharing it again. But I struggle to think that this is someone who has been kidnapped and her kidnapper is forcing her to go on YouTube and stuff her face, and somehow she's making these coded messages that he just isn't seeing. Now, something isn't ringing true here, but it is a very good strategy. Now, we are watching this happen, this concern, this fear happen again right now with another woman actively on YouTube. Just a quick note here, I'm going to be talking about eating disorders again. I'm going to put a stamp again to let you know where to skip to, okay? This is not a subject I want to dwell on, really, because that's not the focus of my video, but it is an interesting study in the exact same effect, this concern, this fear, and really, I'm going to say it, morbid curiosity. Eugenia Cooney is a severely anorexic young woman. She's in her late 20s, and she has started off YouTube a lot younger, and with this fun, slightly dark sense of humour, doing sort of prank videos. Like she walked around pretending it was Christmas in July and asking people if they were home for the holidays. Just ridiculous fun. But she's extremely thin and people started to get concerned, and over the time her illness took hold, her friends had an intervention. She went on videos with very popular YouTubes. She does fashion and stuff, and unfortunately she's pretty much lost the ability to string a sentence together, and anytime anyone says anything remotely concerned, they're either described as haters, or she sort of says this, no, I'm fine, no, like, I'm fine, I just want everyone to be happy. And it's sad, but clicks and concern gets views, and other YouTubers, especially people much more informed than I am about eating disorders, so if you want to deep dive into it, do it at your own risk, but there are people who are very, very good at analysis of this. The thing is, she gets sponsored, and she gets gifts, and she gets people being very concerned, and she also gets men who have a skinny fetish wanting her to lift heavy things on camera. And a lot of the time, this concern, this fear, this worry, this concern, like with Kate Yupp, and now with Eugenia Cooney, and of course now with Hannah Neeleman. Why do people still reach out of concern and out of worry? There's a really interesting experiment that explains this. I love psychology, and I've actually seen this happen in real time. My mum's dog. We went for a walk, and my mum's dog stopped by this little bush, and my mum looks at her and just goes, oh my God, it's not there. The mouse has gone. And I said, what's the mouse? Apparently, a few weeks before I was there, a mouse ran out of that bush. And every time my mum went to this walk with her dog went to that bush and is waiting and waiting and waiting for this mouse to come back. And it's not there. And there was an interesting experiment done, I think, with rats about this. So rats were given food pellets, but very erratically, if they pressed a lever. And the people doing the experiment assumed that if the food wasn't just forthcoming, the rats would give up and get bored and stop pressing this lever in hope that a food pellet might come. But they didn't. It was the other way around. They got addicted, because sometimes, once, just every few times, a pellet would come. And this has happened for the people being concerned about someone who is all over the internet and clearly in some kind of trouble. Sometimes they're right. I'm talking about Britney Spears. Britney was being held under this conservatorship. She was basically a prisoner. And people were picking up on this, that something is wrong. They were looking into the law of this conservatorship and saying, hang on a second, there should have been proof that Britney can't take care of herself. What the hell is going on? But the difference between Britney Spears and Kate Yupp and Eugenia Cooney and now Hannah Neeleman is that Britney was not carefully curating an entire content machine and denying that there's a problem, while also posting little cryptic hints that there might in fact be something terribly wrong. Britney wasn't doing that and then denying it. So although, yeah, we realised that there was something wrong, and Britney was helped, we're going to keep pressing that lever every time a new case comes along, every time, another Hannah Neeleman comes along. Press, because maybe this is another person that needs help. And this is where Ballerina Farm comes in with our next little pellet. So let's recap. We know that interaction is the goal. Keeping people, I made a typo in my notes. I said keeping people staring. That was a typo. I meant sharing, but actually, yeah, keeping people staring and sharing. What brings interaction? Concern. Why does it do this? Because sometimes it works. And who would understand this? Who would understand that this is an interesting little way of getting people to look? Someone really, really, really good at PR. Daniel Neeleman is the son of a billionaire founder of JetBlue Airlines. That man is going to have a whole PR team on his hands. Hannah is a pageant queen. Pageant women are taught to weigh up their every single word, and they are taught how to answer questions in a way that appeals to the widest demographic. That is a core element a lot of the time of pageants, especially in more conservative areas. Hannah would know this. Now, there are probably things about Hannah's life that she maybe didn't think were weird, or didn't maybe think were red flags, like the whole I've booked the seat next to you because I made a call to my father's company and got you looked up on the flight and then got me positioned next to you. But maybe she thought that was romantic. Maybe that wasn't a red flag to her. but confessing to an epidural to a journalist while your husband is out of the room? If she'd wanted that to be off the record, she would have said. Trust me, someone as knowledgeable about PR, someone who has been in the public eye, who has all of these followers, who probably also has staff and a PR machine of her own, would know that this is the kind of thing that a journalist would want to publish and would say, you know, off the record. She didn't do that. She's giving you little tidbits of information, and she's keeping you watching. And for the people who are in favour of the tradwife lifestyle, then watching this phenomenal life of this martyrship where she's given up her dream, as she admitted, given up her dream for her children, and given up this ballet studio, and even given up her sparkly dresses, and while she said she was lucky she wasn't still bleeding when she's in this pageant, many women of this lifestyle and many men would go, oh, that's incredible, while people who feel that that is horrible are going, oh my god, are you not seeing the abuse? Are you not seeing this? I'm angry, and not only am I angry, but I'm going to make a video about just how many red flags there are in this article. And what's everyone doing? Talking about them. And what's everyone doing? Concern. Because concern keeps you nicely in the public eye and keeps everybody talking about you. And when you are beautiful and seemingly extremely capable, ballerinas are hardcore, and ethereal, and this magical Wonder Woman who does it all without nannies because the husband doesn't like nannies in the house, which will greatly appeal to trad husbands and probably greatly appeal to trad wives and making everybody else angry. Now everybody's watching them, supporters and critics alike. And I think that while people are either in support or ripping into this journalist or making video essays of their own all about how the tradwife to poverty pipeline is a thing, it really is, then I think what a lot of people are not seeing is that this concern is a very long-standing, very successful and very lucrative strategy for getting all eyes on you. And I didn't write an ending to this video because I have absolutely no idea what I was going to say after this ending. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments if you want to comment. I'm really only kind of talking to myself because I'm here to try and get better at talking on camera. I feel that it's holding me back when I want to talk about self-defense. I want to make a lot more content about psychological self-defense, which is what I am championing. My brand Armour for Life. I've even got extracts on my book now on my new website, faithroswell.co.uk. So I feel that my fear of speaking into a camera and not having an audience on the other end is holding me back, and I don't want it to anymore. So I'm going to start doing a scary thing as often as I can, and the scary thing right now is filming a video for YouTube. And I'll see you again in another video, whether I like it or not.